Coffee Time with Officer Fox, guest starring Officer Wills. I forgot my teeth.
So I was a motor officer down in Twin Falls. It was a Twin Falls traffic stop. And Twin Falls is very much, I kind of have to set the stage a little bit. Twin Falls is very much an agriculture, rural community. Now it's bigger, but it's still based on agriculture. So I was working, I'll never forget it. I was working on Washington Street in Twin Falls, and I make a traffic stop of a very, very nice BMW car, new BMW car. And the reason that's important is because there's not a lot of BMWs running around Twin Falls. There's a lot of pickup trucks. And so that's kind of the first thing. And it was speeding. I don't remember the exact speed, but it was 15 or 20 miles an hour over the speed limit. And that's not, I mean, it's a major road, but it's in an area where there's homes and kids. And it was in the morning. And so there was kids out headed to school. And I remember it distinctly. And I walk up to the car and the guy was in a suit. And again, I lay that foundation because there's not a lot of people wearing suits in Twin Falls. It's not really a business community. And so I walk up and the guy's in a suit and I do my spiel, never did change, told him who I am, told him why I stopped him. And I asked him if there's a reason he's in a hurry. And he turns to me and he starts speaking and I cannot understand one thing he's saying, number one, but number two, he's spitting on me like crazy or at me, not on purpose, but as he's talking. And I'm thinking, what in the world is going on? And it's not like he was speaking a different language. It was just gibberish. And I'm thinking, I can't understand you. And I told the guy, I said, I don't understand a thing you're saying. And kind of frustrated, he grabs a pen out of his car and I hand him a notepad and he wrote down, I'm a doctor at the hospital and I left my teeth on the counter at home. And he opens his mouth and there's not a tooth in his head. And I went, oh my gosh. So I tell people always ask, did you write him a ticket? And I say, no, for two reasons I didn't write him a ticket. Number one, I don't ever want to be sitting in a doctor's office and have my doctor come in with no teeth in his head. That just as a patient, for his patients that are waiting for him, they needed him to have his teeth. But number two, he was a doctor. And so I tell people, you know, if I get shot and I end up in the emergency room, and he said he worked at the hospital, and I end up in the emergency room, I don't want that doctor ever thinking, is this the cop that wrote me a ticket the morning I left my teeth on the counter? So for two reasons, he got a warning that day. But by far the best excuse I've ever heard, totally legitimate. He wasn't making it up unless he pulled his teeth out right before I stopped him, but he was actually headed away from the hospital. So I am convinced he was headed back home to get his teeth. Totally funny, and probably one of the best excuses I've ever heard in a traffic stop.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, you bet.